Hello again, RLA Advisors back. Bobby McFadden.
Jay Simsick.
And hump day, yeah. The question of the day, this is kind of funny. This was sent, we usually don't delineate between men and women, but this was sent to us by a man. And the question is, why are women sometimes attracted to men who are arrogant assholes? And, you know, I get the question only from my personal perspective, because that's what it is. It's perspective. So I want to start by saying to the gentleman that wrote the question, and thank you very much for writing, but I would question the question. I'm going to challenge it. What's there for you that thinks that guy's an arrogant asshole? Let's start with that, because you're making a judgment on that guy. And he and she may be perfectly suited together. So my understanding is you think he's an arrogant ass, and she thinks you're not the guy for her.
Yep.
It's kind of what I pick up.
Yep.
So if that's the case, and I don't know if it is, I'm reading a lot into it, you got to move on. But if that's not the case, and I'm getting to the heart of the matter, you see this guy as an arrogant ass, and he's not good enough for this girl, and that girl may be your sister, that girl may be a family member or whatnot, then you have to reach out and find out what's going on there.
If it's your business, I mean, I have to, like you said, if it's like your sister, you know, I can see there's a protective thing going on. But if it's just a girl that you are attracted to, or a man, you know, and vice versa, the roles reversed, right? You can't just, you know, put yourself into that space. That person has, I mean, for lack of a better way to say it, has rejected you.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, it's or is just not interested in you in that way.
Or maybe you haven't put yourself in that position.
Possibly,
Could
right?
be all those things.
But the point is until you've had that, if you've had that conversation and he or she has said no, thank you, and moved, it's time for you to move on.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the arrogant asshole part, you know, the other side of things, and you know, I think we've addressed this before, but the other side would be like, all the way would be like, you know, the women who stay with abusive men.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I get that.
So I because the question is like, you know, very one-dimensional, we really can't
get to the bottom of it.
Get to the context of where the question is coming from.
Right.
But in those particular places, you know, I would say a lot of times women, they may feel a loss of power in that relationship and don't have their own, like, for themselves, they don't have the power to leave that relationship.
And I've heard it said over and over again, and I'm not a psychologist, I don't pretend to be, but I have heard...
Did you sleep at a Holiday Inn last night?
Not last night,
okay.
But I have before.
All right.
But
well, then you're qualified.
Honestly, I have heard women say, when I have posed the question, I have heard women say, I would rather be with him in the relationship that I'm in rather than be alone. And that's weird to me. But if it works for them, then they have to understand it. Now, getting back to the guy that wrote this, why are some women attracted to arrogant assholes? If it is that, if it's that you've been rejected or you're maybe not in the relationship that you want to be in, you got to give that up. Because hating someone else is like drinking poison and hope the other person gets sick.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
Just doesn't work.
You. Yeah, but just get past it. So I see it too. You know, I make my own judgments. I can see a beautiful woman with a guy that, you know, you think, well, how'd that happen? Well, it was Rick Ocasek in the Cars, and he's married to the supermodel.
Yeah.
And they've been married for like 27, 30 years. Whatever's working for them is working for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, to add to it too is remember, and I don't want the video to go too long, but remember that all your thoughts start with one thing in common. You. There's nothing you can control out there, so you're the one who thinks that person is an arrogant asshole, right? Now, the thing is why? Why do you think that? Did something, and again, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've slept at Holiday Inns before.
There you go.
But the question becomes, you know, why do you feel that way? What is it about that person's behavior that has you label them that way?
Good.
And you might start to see something shift for yourself about why that is, and that might start to shift the way you look at that person.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave this too. If the question, and we don't know, again, it's one dimensional. If the question is, should I become an arrogant asshole so I get a good looking girl? I would say no. Be who you are. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
But in any
that's a good
case,
point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, it just occurred for me just then. So find out what's there for you. deal with that. And if the fellow that's out there that wrote to us on this one, it can give us a little more information, be happy to address it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the rest of you, don't forget, leave us a comment. Feel free to ask a question. Keep the conversation going no matter where you are in life. So that's about it for me.
All right. I got nothing else.
Bobby McFadden,
Jay
RLA
Simsick.
Advisors, Jay Simsick. We'll see you next time.
See ya.